To all those above me that watch over me, to all of you, my fave parapeeps on this side of the veil, welcome. This is Shawn Whittington's Paranormal Ministry Live 2.0. I'm your host, Shawn Whittington. I am a seminarian in the United States Old Catholic Church, and I'm coming to you live from my haunted house, my very haunted house, where I live. Been quiet today. Well, actually, no, there we go. The dream catcher is starting to spin a little bit. There's no fan ons in here. The vent is shut off. Um, so I don't know. Okay, we have a great show today. I know that's why you all tuned in. We're actually going all the way to England to bring in a very special guest tonight. So let's keep our fingers crossed that all the Wi Fi signals are strong and things beyond our control that may not want her and I chatting tonight don't interrupt the broadcast. But she's in the green room and I will bring her out shortly. Real quick, let's check the prayer urn. This is from Allison W. in Texas. Hi, Allison. I recently lost a family member to illness. I'm so sorry to hear that, Allison. My heart and prayers go out for you. Her name is Barb. She struggled with death at the end, and I want to make sure that she crosses over. Can you pray for her? Absolutely, Allison. That is a beautiful request, and most certainly. And feel free later on in private message or email, what have you. You want to talk to me further about the situation. I'm getting possibly you think she hasn't, and it's there. So if you'd like to talk about it, we can do that. Let me find a good prayer for you here. Isn't it funny how I just pulled up a beautiful prayer this morning about guardian angels, which can also be very helpful in helping disembodied spirits cross over. Okay, this is a beautiful one. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. I offer this prayer up for Barb. Heavenly Father, I believe that in your wisdom and justice you willed to purify all persons who die without having attained the state that they need for all eternity. All you have still to expiate completely the sins committed on earth. I also believe that you have mercifully arranged that this process of purification can be aided by the prayers of the living, especially the Eucharist. Help me to pray for my brothers and sisters who have departed from this world. May their time of purification be short, and they be quickly guided into that holy light promised by our Lord to Abraham and his descendants. I offer you sacrifices and prayers of praise. Accept them all for the souls of the faithfully departed, and admit them all to heavenly glory and joy. Amen. That is for your friend Barb, Allison. And like I said, please reach out to me later if you'd like to talk more about that.
Hey, Shawn, I would also like to ask you to extend a prayer to all of our friends in Hawaii who are dealing with that devastating fire. So far, I believe the number I last saw was 53 people they have found who have not made it. So please extend I'm asking everybody to extend your thoughts and prayers to them. That's terrible what they're going through.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you jumped in about that. And maybe that's why, isn't it funny? I just pulled up a guardian. Something made me go online and pull up. I don't even know why I went online, but I went online and I stumbled onto this beautiful guardian angel prayer. And Sharon, my wife, lived in Hawaii for many, many years and has been to that area that got devastated. So she knows, and she was quite upset when she saw the news, heard the news. But maybe I'm supposed to recite this guardian angel prayer for all the guardian angels to go down and watch over that area and the survivors and help the ones that did not survive make it to where they need to be. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. O angel of God, my holy guardian, given to me from heaven, Enlighten me this day and save me from all evil. Instruct me in doing good deeds and set me on the path of salvation. And I would like to add, in this life and the next. Amen. Yeah, my heart goes out to all of those people too. Very upsetting. Okay, let me check the mailbag. Donald P. from the UK. That's where we're going tonight, Donald. That's not a coincidence, I don't think. Everyone here seems to believe in ghosts, except me. Having said that, can I still get rid of a ghost in my house? I'm going to say that and ask my guest that. Um, well, I'm getting the sense from you, Donald, that you do believe a little bit, or you wouldn't ask that question. You might be having some issues and want to know if you can get rid of this ghost that you don't believe in your house to leave. Um, yeah, you can make a deal with them. If you can't get them to leave, you can make a deal with them. Hey, listen, before I bring somebody in here that's going to send you somewhere you may not want to go, I ask that you know, knock off the parlor tricks and scaring me and my family. And if you want to just hang out and not let us know you're here, fine. But if you continue with the shenanigans, the ghostly shenanigans, I'm going to have to send you away. See if that works. And that's just, my advice for someone who doesn't believe but wants to know how to get rid of a ghost. All right, Donald, good luck to you, brother. Anything you want to know about my wife and I and our ministry work, go to our website, www.ghost-b-gone.biz. If you go there to visit, remember, my wife and I don't charge for our ministry work, helping people with their paranormal issues. So, brothers and sisters, trust me, I know things are tough. But if you notice the donate button and you're able to do so, click on it and send my ministry in a small donation. I promise you, it'll be appreciated from the bottom of our hearts. And trust me, we'll put it to good use. Um, there's also a place where you can make an appointment to speak with me if you're having issues of a spiritual nature, not paranormal, and you'd like to speak with me about those issues. There's a place, spiritual advisor page there where you can actually make an appointment to speak with me. Having said that, don't leave the website without navigating over to the page called Introduction to Spiritual Warfare Course/books. On that page, you'll find my two books. The original that got it all started. Where is it? Here it is. God Ghosts of the Paranormal Ministry, my autobiography. And the second one that came out when the show came out, God Ghosts in the Paranormal Ministry 2. If you haven't done your good deed for the day yet today, part of the proceeds of every sale of every copy of my books go to support stjude.org, St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, Nevada, and the ASPCA. So you get to help some of the neediest children on the planet, along with the animals too. How cool is that? You can get the books on the website autographed. They come to you enclosed in a beautiful house blessing kit. But you can also get them a little less expensive at Amazon. The books they're not autographed and they don't come in a kit, but you can get them a little less expensive at Amazon. Scroll a little bit further down on that page and you'll see the Introduction to Spiritual Warfare course. I offer a 12-week online college level course, Introduction to Spiritual Warfare, through me and my wife and everything that we represent. And this is a course for all you true warriors for Christ out there that want to have more knowledge when it comes to drawing your line in the sand, making a stand, circling the wagons, and putting up a good fight, the fight of your life in some cases, against, God forbid, true evil if it ever comes calling. This is the course for you. All my students who graduate get a stunning diploma, certificate of completion suited for framing, along with some very special blessed graduation gifts from your teacher. And your teacher will be yours truly. I'm your instructor and your teacher. So you can enroll in the course there at the website. If you want more information about the course before making that type of commitment, there is a Introduction to Spiritual Warfare course Facebook page that you can go and you can read about it. I think the page, it's a new page, Shawn Whittington's Paranormal Introduction to Paranormal Ministry course, and you can go there and read about the course, or just reach out to me and talk to me about it. We'll see if the course is right for you. Okay, the reason why you all tuned in tonight. I love her. I respect her. She's really cool. Hopefully, our signal holds up. I always get wonky stuff when I get to the UK now, and so hopefully that won't be the issue tonight. Um, Co-founder of Lincolnshire Spirit Seekers, highly gifted spiritual medium, paranormal authority. Just a really cool lady. You all know her. You all love her. Without further ado, please give a big, warm paranormal ministry family welcome to the one and only Wendy Hollins.
Hi, good
How are
evening, everyone. I'm fine. I've got my fingers crossed for the internet. So far, so good.
you? So far, so good. You know what? It's not only you. Lately, every time I go to talk to anybody, even if I'm not doing my show and I do a live Facebook chat with somebody, um, I get people all over the world making appointments with me for spiritual advice. Sometimes paranormal, sometimes not. Sometimes I have these conversations with people from the UK, like you and I are doing, and it's not on my
Yeah,
show. And it's lately, anytime I try to talk to anybody over there, it's rough. So I don't know if it's I talked to a person the other day who said the government doesn't advertise this a lot, but we're going through a period of bad solar flares, and apparently that has worldwide affected Wi-Fi
that would
signals and
make
the internet signals,
sense.
and it's craziness. But it is what it is. My audience is very forgiving, and they know what we
Thank
deal with.
goodness.
We're not CBS, so it is what it is. But I'm happy to see you. I'm happy you're here with us tonight.
Oh,
How's William and the kids?
they're fine. Yeah, they've been very busy this week, so it's been a bit hectic in this household. So, they've all gone to bed just about. They're that
Oh,
tired.
yep, you're late. It's late there. It's 10 p.m. I had to start only booking my European guests on Fridays because my show's here at 2 p.m. and it's 10 p.m. there. I occasionally would have a brave soul from over there that would want to do a Monday, but when my show goes live here at 5 p.m., it's 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning there. So it would have to be special circumstances if for whatever reason they had the next day off, like Tuesday, or they were night owls and stayed up late and didn't mind. But it got increasingly more and more difficult to book guests on a Monday. So I just now try and book all of my UK guests on Friday. But it's still 10 p.m. Still a little bit late there.
Yeah.
So thank you for staying up with us.
Oh no, I'm a night owl anyway, so
And I would
I can
imagine,
sit up.
Wendy, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I would imagine things are always a bit hectic and crazy for you because most spiritual mediums that I know, there's always stuff going on. And sometimes it can be difficult to just shut that stuff off. And it's always a lot of people think that um, people that are gifted like you are a bit weird. We're all weird. I'm weird too. But they don't understand that there's a lot going on that they don't hear and see that people like you hear and see, and so there's always
Yeah.
that turmoil, if you will, kind of going on. How do you I'm thinking of a time when I was at the grocery store not too long ago, and I was getting something from the frozen section, and in the reflection of the glass, I saw another customer there, and so I actually moved out of the way so that this person could get grab the door and get in there first, trying to be polite because I was standing there and I couldn't figure out what I wanted. But when I turned to move, there was nobody there, but I could still see the person in the glass. So I was asking the person in the glass, do you have a message for me? What do you want? Um, whatever else I may have said. But in the process of doing this, I realized I wasn't alone in the aisle. There were several people that had stopped doing what they were doing, and they were just kind of
Yeah.
watching me like, "Who's this crazy fool?" And then one even went and got somebody that worked there to come and ask me if I needed help, if I was okay, because they didn't want, this whack job to go weird. How do you marry, literally marry your gifts to your marriage, to your family, to going about your everyday life, and even with Lincolnshire Spirit Seekers? How do you marry that all as successfully as you've done?
I think I just try. Well, at first I didn't tell my husband because I didn't want to come across as, like you say, weird. Because I wasn't very comfy myself with my gifts when I was younger because I didn't really know too much about it until I got to my teenage years. So it was when we were on a day out to see William's boarding school, and it's a big old building. It's in the Doomsday Book, I think, or something like that. And I walked in and went, "Oh, your school's really posh. It's got aircon in it." And he went, "No, it's not." And I literally went into the energy of the building and was transported back just for a second. And I had to kind of fess up at that point to my husband as well. So I told him, and then we lived in a house that was haunted as well. And my husband actually saw something then, and I think that's helped us to be quite open about things in our marriage. When it comes to the spiritual, um, Martin and I in Lincolnshire Spirit Seekers, we're just so alike in so many ways. Um, we were out on an investigation on Saturday night, and I saw a nun who was as real as you are now. And I thought she was out walking in the woods, and I thought that was a little bit strange. And then I turned to look again, and she was gone. Um, and that was the very first time I've seen one that looked so real. They've always had a different look to them when I see them in my mind, or when I picture them, or when they speak to me. So that was quite strange, and it was like, oh, that's interesting. So I went to have a look, as you do, and it got quite hectic after that. We would hear footsteps. All our equipment was going off, um, and it was nice to be around people that you don't have to explain yourself to, um, which is, I don't really tell people that don't know me. I let them find out for themselves that I'm a spiritual medium. Um, a lady came to my door today and she says, "Well, everybody's got you figured in this house because I've got a doormat that says the witch is in, and it's on my cupboard door as well." And I went, "Oh, yeah, they think I'm terrible. They think I'm the wicked witch, but I'm not really." And she went off laughing. And I think the more that we make it normal, I think the more people will come to us if they have an issue, a spiritual issue, and to help people really. And that's all I want to do, is to give guidance. I don't tell fortunes like they say you do. You just give pathways that may become open. Everyone's got free will, and no one can make you do anything. And I've always lived by do no harm. Um, I'm surrounded by animals. I think it's gone up since we last talked.
You had quite a few
Um,
the last time we talked. What's it up to now?
oh, I think we've got about 8 or 9 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
How
So
about
it,
your how
it,
about your siblings? So many psychic mediums tend to pass some, not always, but most of the time tend to pass some of that, um, those gifts on through the bloodline, if you will, to their siblings. Do you have any of your children exhibited those types of gifts?
yes. My son, when he was younger, but he's now, he doesn't believe. My daughter, yes. My young son, yes. And to be honest, even my husband has been showing signs of being gifted as well. People tend to go towards him and talk to him because he's got that open energy about him. Um, and they always feel calm around him. But we think it was passed down by my mum through my mum's side, um, because we both had an experience when my grandfather died in America. He We just got a really strong smell of his coffee and his cigarettes around us. And at that time, we didn't know he died. And it was the next day we found out that he'd actually passed away.
Wow.
So,
That was a visitation for sure.
yeah, definitely. Um, and because the both of us were there, it kind of validates it a little bit more rather than I was alone. Um, just odd little things that when my grandparents died, um, I think it was Frank Sinatra saying the end is near, and so the end is near. And that was on when I got told my grandmother had died. So it's all kind of, um, it's been a learning curve because you always feel the odd one out. You don't feel like you fit in with anyone. So it's nice when you get a group of people that they don't question you. They understand what you've been going through because they've been going through it themselves.
I have a
So and
confession to make to you. I bet you didn't think you were going to take confession tonight, but I have a confession for you. When I ask people the usual questions when they reach out to me for help, um, I have to ask. Have you, um, or anybody in your family, immediate or distant relative, ever been clinically diagnosed with a mental illness? Or have you directly, and are you under the care of a physician and on medications, yada, yada, yada? And then the next question, if they say no, and I believe them, sometimes I already know the answer to my questions, and I want to make sure that the person's going to be honest with me because that's big in a relationship when I'm trying to help somebody with whatever that's in their home that's hurting
yeah,
them. But they say, I'll ask, and they sometimes I get this look from people. I go, do you happen to think that possibly you are psychically gifted? And the reactions are all over the place what I get when I ask that question. And I've found more times than not, these people are gifted, and that's why they're being targeted because they look different than people that aren't gifted that way to the spirit world. They're like that light in the darkness, and they're
yeah,
attracting. But once I get them the help they need, and some of them are like freaked out that Yeah, I always thought I was gifted, but I've tried to shut that down because I don't want people to think I'm crazy, and I don't want to go crazy. I don't know if I am. But once I get them the help, I think it's really important that if a person is really gifted like you, not to shut it down. You have to learn how to work with it. You need to get some help and some guidance on how
Yeah,
to accept this into your life and integrate it and work with it and get
yeah,
it under control. Speak to all those people that may be watching tonight that are in that boat, that think they may be gifted but they don't know for sure, or they've been told that they're gifted and they don't know what they should do now. They're happy that they're not crazy, but now they don't know what to do. Um, Speak to those people.
well, what I would say is go and find, like in the UK, we have spiritualist churches. So I'm not sure what it's like in the USA. But what I would say is find out, have a look on the internet, because there's loads of things going on now that never used to happen on the internet. And these sometimes have circles, and you can go in and it's just people like us sitting. Um, we sit in circle and we learn to use our gifts. And then I've sat in private circles, and it's just about learning to know when it's spirit and when it's not. It's about learning to open and close and ground yourself and protect yourself. And I must admit, if I hadn't found a circle, then I would have been lost, really, because I've always, you're always learning new things about your gifts, and they tend to change them just when you're not looking to change them.
Yeah, the
You,
spirit world has their own rules.
the one thing I would say though is what may work for one person might not work for the next person. So you have to find what's right for you. And use that to the best of your ability. And then spirit will move you on when they think you're ready. You might not think you're ready, but they know when you're ready. So they'll move you forward. Um, don't expect it to be an overnight thing. It takes a lot of dedication. You have to, well, when I was running a circle, I like people to be there on the same day and the same night, sorry, the same time. And I would say that spirit get to know when you're going to be there. So they're kind of getting ready for when you open the circle. And it's such a lovely feeling to be able to help others because you think they're not alone now. And for a lot of people, they do go and find out about mental health, and that's fine. Because what you'll find is a lot of mediums may be gifted, but they do have other health issues. Um, I am pagan. I have worked with the spiritualist churches and centres in the UK. And I tend to do that to give back to spirit. I don't ask for anything. I don't think, oh, well, I would have offended them lots, Jennifer. Um, so don't worry. You have to set your boundaries. You have to let them know what you're happy with and what you're not. And then you protect your house, you protect your family, because the light also attracts the negative, and
Absolutely. Yeah.
they will take any advantage to come in at any point. I've noticed
Let me
that.
ask you a quick question here.
Sorry, I
I'm
could go on about.
Oh, I love that. No, these you know me, Wendy. My show's not really about me. I don't do my show to be that uh, host that it's all about him. I love I love bringing people on and just listening to people talk and tell their stories. Um, what I want to ask real quick though is I talk to a lot of people who are afraid to come out from their, whether they're Catholic or Christian or Jewish. Sometimes they're very involved in their church and they're gifted and they're scared to come out with that because they don't want to be labeled or ridiculed or made fun of, which
Yeah,
when I find some churches doing that, it's I find it really disgusting. That's why I love the church that I'm attached to, because we don't judge, we accept everybody. um Here's the thing. What do
they,
you when these spiritualist churches over there have these circles, do they welcome everybody in regardless of what
yes,
religious belief system they're? That's beautiful. That is
they're
beautiful.
welcomed in. And if anybody was ever worried, I'm on the internet nearly 7 days a week. So come and find me and I can talk you through it.
Yeah, but while we're on that topic, real quick, tell everybody how you've got a show. Well, Lincolnshire Spirit Seekers (LSS), and you and I will talk about the big event coming up in October.
Oh,
But
I
talk to
know.
people about LSS, how they can reach you exactly, and you also have a show. They can watch your show, which is a really cool show. Tell everybody about all that stuff.
Well, I started helping Martin about 5, 6 years ago. And then when lockdown happened, it was kind of, we were all thrown onto the internet, and we would start just making sure that we could reach people that maybe felt a bit alone. Because here you weren't allowed to go into other people's houses if you weren't in their household. So there's a lot of lonely people out there. Then we decided that we were going to do a podcast, and we started off, Martin and myself and guests, and it's been quite fun because we've been getting to know subjects that I knew nothing about, and I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. um And it's nice to hear from people who are in the same field. Martin and I believe that there should be no bullying in the paranormal field. You know, we support, promote, and we care about people. And, you know, it's all about para unity. If we could share our findings a bit more, then it would be able to progress the paranormal world on a little bit. But everybody tends to keep a lot of the stuff that they find to themselves. Sorry, my throat's. So yeah, and now Martin is doing his first platform tomorrow night with myself and another medium from LSS, and so we're all looking forward to that very much. We are we do our talk show on a Tuesday night at, we try for 8, 9 o'clock, depending on Wi-Fi issues. there are lots. And we try and get out to do paranormal investigations a bit more now that lockdown's finished. We're going to try to get out at least once a week, hopefully, Martin? And then we've obviously got the event in October, and Martin's got a new venture where he's going out into the community and trying to bring unity to the actual community that we all live in. So that's a new thing that Martin started up. So that's really interesting. But yeah, Martin and we kind of bounce off each other quite a lot.
You guys make
And
a good
Bob,
team for sure. Bob too. Bob's on my show. Yeah, Bob's coming
next
on my
week,
show 2 weeks, the 25th. Bob will be on.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was that's about that. But
I want to ask you about this big event coming up that Martin invited me to speak at. I think it'll be um, roughly around 2:30 p.m. here Pacific, which I believe is 11:30, 10:30 or 11:30 there. When I'll be speaking at that event you guys have in October. Tell
yeah,
everybody about the event and tell everybody. I want to know about. I know there's a ghost hunt after this big Halloween festival, and then you've got other paranormal people speaking. Uh, there's a ghost hunt. Where is the ghost hunt? And tell me about the hauntings at that location after you talk about the
I
event.
I will be quite honest. I try not to listen or look at where we're going for the
Very good.
simple reason I don't want prior knowledge to. I know we're going on a ghost walk in Beverly, and I know that there's a paranormal investigation as well, and I am so looking forward to that. Um, we're going to have speakers, the Pear Tree and Cleethorpes. That's it, Martin. I thought it was the other one. Sorry, I'm ahead of myself. I'm looking forward to doing more of these because it brings a lot more people in, even though there a lot of the, as you know, the television, the Legion of Exorcists, which I'm dying to watch, and it's not over here yet.
You can buy it online for $10 the whole season.
Oh well, I'll be doing that then. I bought your book. I bought your first book, so I'll have to get the second book.
Okay. Did you like the
Um.
first book?
Oh
You can
yeah, I loved it.
be honest. I've had people tell me a little bit slow, but once it got going, it was pretty good. It's okay.
I read it while I was away on holiday, so it was quite nice to just sit and relax and read it. While I had my feet up on the patio.
Be careful with the second book. The second book are stories that I never intended to share, but it was so therapeutic for me to be on that show and share some stories that I thought I would never share. It was like really a lifting of a burden, it felt like. So then I decided, well, some of these other stories I never intended, I'm going to put them down on paper and maybe do another book, which I did, and it felt great to do that. But the gifts that you have, I like to warn. I have many people like you that reach out to me to purchase the book, and I warn them ahead of time because I fear sometimes telling them these stories, and there has to be a certain amount of negative energy along with positive.
Yeah,
There's a lot of good versus evil where good wins in the book, but there's a lot of like even my publisher has a lot of paranormal experiences, even editing my books. So I like to warn people like you, just like when you get the book, be careful. Know what you're getting and what you're about to read. And I totally understand if you were to say to me, Shawn, I probably wouldn't get your second book because that stuff does affect me. So I just thought I would throw that out there to you.
No, it's okay. I've actually done a course that gives me the basics. It's demonology for paranormal investigators.
Well, very cool.
I want to go further, but at the moment, cash flow is the problem for that. Um,
You and me both.
so yeah,
Yeah.
so I've done that one, and because I've already dealt with um, negative entity already, and I was relatively new to the field. Um, I do feel that I'm meant to be there to help people because I don't run away. I never run away. One, I've not got the energy to run, but I think because the way I grew up with my gift, and I had to keep it to myself most of the time. And some of the things I saw were terrifying, and no one would believe me. And it was just, I think that's where I'm meant to be. I think that's where I feel the comfiest is cleansing homes. And when they say it's the first good night's sleep they've had in the room, in their house that they've been living in for 2 years, you think, yeah, at least I've helped a family be
Absolutely.
able to help them. Um, it's I do get where you come from because there's sometimes I think to myself that some of the books, the TV programs, when it's about negativity, the fear that some people may get from watching that is just what evil needs,
Yeah.
so to speak, to come in, the negative to come in. Um, so yeah, that's just my
Do you
view.
mind if
I
I
would
ask you a
never read.
question about
Um,
your house cleansings? Um, I saw a picture. We may or may
yeah.
not have time to talk about past lives, but you posted a beautiful picture of an indigenous woman, and you talked about how in a past life that was you. And past lives are all over the place. I'm a big believer in them. I know I have dear friends that don't believe in them past lives at all. But you talked about house cleansing, and then I was thinking about that indigenous picture, and I have a lot of indigenous friends out here. I've learned a lot of techniques. There's a lot of indigenous people out here, and I get a lot of them that reach out to me for help. They don't live on the res, and they're just trying to live a normal life, but they're having, spiritual issues. But I've learned a lot from some indigenous holy people on um, how to properly smudge, uh, integrate really good smudging techniques in with my normal house blessings where I use the blessed salts and the holy water and all that stuff. Um, how do you go about doing your? Because some people don't like you coming in with a big old, torch of white sage on fire, smoking the house out. Some people are, allergic or they got smoke alarms or whatever. How do you do your house cleansing?
Okay. Well, if you've got problems with the fire alarms going off, I will use a spray bottle full of sage water and salt.
Yes, I got that on my watch. So that's brilliant. Yeah, I do that too.
I tend to, in my house, all my children in their rooms, they have sage incense sticks for if I'm out, for when I come back, they'll put them on. I do my house regularly with Palo Santo and sage, but some of the sage I have used and blessed on my altar because I grow a lot of the herbs myself, and I'm able to do these kind of things because I've got an exam in magical herbs, so I can do all that. I bless my soul on my altar, and I'll take that with me, and I even give them their very own sage stick and say, right, you need to keep up with this. And please do not talk about anything about your haunting in the house. Keep away from Ouija boards. Keep away from everything that you can to bring this back in. Because there's no point me coming in if you're going to use a Ouija board 5 minutes after I've gone.
Absolutely. Well said.
And a lot of people are now, they now see it as, I suppose it's a game because it's been marketed as a game. I think that you need to keep up a regular routine of keeping your house cleansed. And I always say a personal prayer to me. My spirit guide, who I've had for all my life, he is a Native American. And he has helped me so much. But at first, I listened to him for the big stuff because I trust him, because he's been there. The past life, I've gone right back to past Egyptian times. And I've worked with herbs in a lot of those lifetimes. And I didn't know what I was saying. I was asleep almost until you hear the tape afterwards. You're like, okay, I said that. When did I say that? And it's a bit not scary. It's really interesting to think, because I believe you start as energy, you live this human life, and you go back to energy. I do feel that there's life everlasting. I was brought up in the church. I went to Sunday school religiously, as did my mum and dad. And in some places, there still are rules for not doing any work on a Sunday and not hanging washing out. Women aren't allowed in pubs by themselves. The
Really?
horror.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
funny. You're talking about some things that happen over there. I'm gonna. I didn't intend on asking you this question, but something's telling me to ask you. Here, your country. I have deep-seated roots and ancestry from the UK. But like for instance, here in America, we have, of course, the Bermuda Triangle. We also have the Bridgewater Triangle, and Alaska now is considered to have a triangle there. I don't know if I've been living under a rock and maybe people talk about this and I just haven't heard about it. I don't know. But over there, in addition to being considered probably the most haunted country in the world, the UK, England, Scotland, Ireland, what do you, is there an actual, any kind of, do you guys have your a triangle over there or a place like that that everybody goes to when they want to have paranormal experiences or do research and try to find out what's behind the phenomena?
I went to, I wouldn't say it was spiritual. It was witchy. It was my idea of Christmas all over. I could have spent a week in the shops there. Um, it's a place called Glastonbury, and it's got the Tor, and um, and the streets are just filled with spiritual people, and some of them are like me, older than me. There's some a little bit more way out with their clothes and things.
It sounds like our Lilydale. Have you ever heard of Lilydale here in America?
Is it the time where everybody's got the mediumship and
Yeah.
everything? Yeah,
Sounds like Glastonbury's like that.
and it's a lovely place. Well, that was my first time down there, but from there, there's meant to be ley lines to like Stonehenge, which obviously is the magical energy. So that goes to Stonehenge, and it also goes to different areas of the world, I suppose,
Yeah.
because the ley lines go right around the world. But yeah, Glastonbury. Um, I loved Edinburgh because of the city underneath Edinburgh. So you've got the first Edinburgh, then you've got modern day Edinburgh. You've got the vault. You've got
Greyfriars.
Greyfriars.
You been to
That
Greyfriars?
yeah, yeah.
Too
Of
scary
course,
for me. Too scary for me.
of course. I mean, I'll be honest. I've been to quite a few places. I've been to Transylvania. I've also been to the Queen Mary out in Los Angeles. Um, there's a few places I still want to go. I've been taken to, it's terrible. I've I've been doing this for so long that I forget the names. There was a haunted abbey, and it was that bad that it got knocked down. Well, my husband knew where it was, so he decided to take me. And I was like, that did scare me. And I must admit, I was like, drive, drive, drive quicker, um, to get out of the energy. Like Martin was saying, Stonehenge. I went there the other week on holiday, so I saw that.
What's
Um,
weird about your country is there's like if you really search them out, they're not as big as Stonehenge, but all over your country is riddled with these like little versions of Stonehenge
yeah,
all over the place. I find that fascinating.
and there's one right up at the top of Scotland, away in the islands of Scotland. We went to them, and it's quite eerie when you're standing in this area and the winds and the fog's coming in and the wind and the noise that the stones make. I just found it magical, and it was so peaceful just for those blissful few minutes.
I
But
was
yeah,
talking to a gentleman that you mentioned Edinburgh. I talked to a gentleman that used to give ghost tours there, and he said some of them old cemeteries, all of the grave sites have those little bells hanging on them because I guess so many people died during the plagues that if you were buried by accident alive, you could ring the bell and let people know you're not dead. But he says when the wind blows just right, all the bells in the graveyards start dinging and chiming
yeah,
because of the winds, and it's just he says it's the most eeriest feeling and sound when you hear that, because you know what the bells are for.
Yeah, I must admit, I've been there, and it's quite scary. Even though you're on a ghost walk, you go along just to be able to get into these places. Maybe you shouldn't, but I do. And it's just lovely to walk around and get to feel it and get to a sense of it. I mean, I've not heard um I've not heard the bells ding, um, but I was once walking along from Edinburgh Castle down and going home, because I lived in Edinburgh for a while, and I heard my name just in my ear, and I turned round thinking it was a friend or something. No, so my pace got quicker and quicker.
Yeah, when they know
Um,
your name, it gets your attention.
yeah, I've had that quite a few times. Sorry, I've got a mosquito here. It's it's very warm at the moment in Britain for a change, and it got me right across the head. But I think I personally I think that I don't know about you, Shawn, but I think when lockdown began and everybody had to stay at home, who might have been out from say 7 in the morning till maybe 8, 9 o'clock at night, that doesn't give you a lot of time in your house. So when you're stuck in the house 24 hours a day, you start to learn a lot about your house. You start
Yeah,
to hear the creaks and the groans and the doors opening and closing by themselves
yeah.
and the strange smells and all that.
That almost
So
sounds, I'll bet you, well, like what Sharon says about living with Shawn. The creaks and the weird smells and the sounds. And
yeah,
Yeah. It's funny he pops in, and I'm glad he did, because I could go on talking to you for another hour or two, but I can't believe it. I can't believe we're almost out of time. That was really a nice chat. I really enjoyed that. I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyhow. Did you have fun when you come back? Did we lose you? Oh, we
sorry.
lost you. Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Okay.
just for a second.
Will you come back? We lost
Yeah,
you again. Shake. Okay.
yes.
I love you, Wendy. You know I do. If I was there, I'd give you a big hug and a kiss. Give my love to your
And the
family. Give my
same.
love to Martin, and have a wonderful remainder of your Friday evening. And tell all the ghosts I said hi. And I will be talking to you soon.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Wendy. Have a great evening. Wendy Hollins, Lincolnshire Spirit Seekers, co-owner with Martin Ali. Check them out. Check her out. Great show, great team. Got a big event coming up in October, which I'm going to speak at via satellite. Um, what do I want to say? USOCC.org and bishopjameslong.com. Just go to both those sites and be pleasantly surprised. If you like night prayer, which is Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific, the link to that is there at one of those sites. If you like a Bible study, which is every Wednesday and Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m. Pacific, that's usually on Facebook Live on the United States Old Catholic Church Clergy and Parishioners page. That's a good time on Wednesdays and Sundays Bible study. Um, Thank you to Adrian and Zach Clayton, my co producers, for doing my show, which I couldn't do without them because I am totally computer illiterate. Next week's guest. You guys are going to love her. Monday the 14th, a couple of days from now. Dr. Joy Pugh, The Joy to the World monthly series this Monday. That's always a great show. CommunityPayItForward.us. Go there and be pleasantly surprised. CommunityPayItForward.us. Eli Roth presents the Legion of Exorcists. People still reaching out to me wanting to know how they can see it. Well, you have to go to Max or Discovery Plus or Amazon Prime Video and just buy the season 1 for like $10. Okay. Thank you to Things Network. Thank you to Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment. Thank you to Skeleton Key Network. Thank you to Pact, little p, capital ACT, Podcasting for All Coming Together channel, for all these networks simulcasting my show. God bless you all for doing that. And yes, my original main Facebook profile, Shawn Whittington, seminarian, was hacked apparently. It's been deactivated, it's disappeared. So you can find me now on Facebook at Lawrence Morace, LAWRENCE, Morace, MORACE, and Sean Patrick Whittington in parentheses is after that. But that's where I'm at now. If you need to reach out to me and refriend me, what else do I want to tell you guys other than I love you all? Thank you all for spending an hour out of your busy Friday afternoons or Friday evenings with me. It's bad joke time. I'm going to pull a bad joke that one of you sent in out of this haunted carnival Barker hat. It's my poor attempt to put a smile on everybody's face before I say good night. And thank you all for all the. I made a mention, I think, a week or two ago that I was running out of jokes. They started coming in. Why did the snowman pick through a bag of carrots? He was picking his nose. Good night, Danny. Good night, Jack. Good night, Dog. Good night, Harold. Rest in peace. Good night, Ernie. Good night, Bill. Good night, Dan. I love you all. God bless you all. Peace.